Alright, what's going on, everybody? My name is Monster, and welcome to the NSTL Week 2 battle. If you're wondering why there was no team builder posted for this, it's because I didn't really have time to make one. I just took over this team, and I kind of built my team right before this battle, and then battled. So, yeah, well, not like right before. It was like an hour and a half before the battle, but, yeah, so this week we take on Trogaholic. He has a really scary team, to be completely honest. But I think we prepped really well, to be honest. So yeah. To give you a rough idea of what I'm bringing choice. I'm bringing especially offensive choice scarf Kieran because it does a lot of damage to his team. Then we're bringing pretty much standard Mega Deancey. Very very good threat against his team. Then we're bringing especially defensive assault vest Tangrowth because it walls his special threats and his defensive threats. Or not, sorry. It walls his special threats and it walls his physically offensive threats because Tangrowth is an absolute beast. They were bringing Ditto just in case he sets up with Zygarde or sets up with Gyarados or Calm Minds on Latias. I figured Ditto was a good bring. Excuse me. And yeah, so then we're bringing defensive Blastoise pretty much specifically for Heatran. I didn't really have much on my team to switch into Heatran, so I kind of had to bring Blastoise. And then we're bringing especially offensive choice specs Hoopa. So, yeah, to get right into it, I lead Deancey because I didn't think he had a really good answer into Deancey. And he sees that I don't have a ground type and he leads Manectric. I should have figured this was going to happen, but unfortunately, I didn't, so I mean, it's fine. So I just go straight into Tangrowth, zero questions, and then he Volt switches, which was obviously his play, and then he goes into Heatran. Excuse me again. So yeah, I've already said that my dedicated switching into Heatran was Blastoise, so I just go right into Blastoise. Showdown seems to be lagging for some reason. I'm pretty sure I'm not lagging at Showdown, but yeah, so I go into Blastoise to take whatever hit he wants to go for, and then he goes for Rocks. I don't really care that he has Rocks. I have Rapid Spin. He has no Ghost type, so I just go straight for Rapid Spin because I know Heatran can't touch me. And he goes into Manectric. And then here I actually switch into Ditto because I thought he was going to predict me switching into Tangrowth. And he actually does not do that. He actually just straight up Volt switches, and he goes into Zygarde. This is where I realize that I do have, or his Manectric set does have Hidden Power on it, but because I have full IVs, I actually have Hidden Power Dark and not Ice. That would have been super nice if I had Hidden Power Ice. That would have been really cool, but yeah, so here I just switch into Tangrowth 100% of the time. That's my play. And then he goes for Earthquake for some reason. He doesn't have 1,000 arrows. I guess he didn't really need 1,000 arrows for anything on my team, and Earthquake hit harder, but 1,000 arrows is generally what you do. Tangrowth takes no damage from that despite having zero investment into defense. I absolutely love Tangrowth, by the way. For anybody who watches this video in an STL, Tangrowth is easily my favorite grass type and probably one of my favorite mons to draft in Draft League. So yeah, really, really cool that I actually I picked this team up late and already had Tangrowth on it. But yeah, so I take that Earthquake like a champion, and then he switches it to Hariyama as I go for knockoff. I figured knockoff was my best play because it was obviously wasn't going to do any damage to me. And so I knock off his Assault Vest, which is super clutch. That set would have been really good against my team because my entire team is especially offensive. So yeah, so I switch into Blastoise. Just I didn't really know what he wanted to go for there, but Blastoise is fully defensive, so I just went into Blastoise, and then here I go for Toxic because I know he can't really do much to me, and then he actually crit knockoffs me. I don't think that's Guts boosted because he's Assault Vest, so yeah, he gets rid of my recovery, but that's fine. And then here I go for Scald, I believe, just trying to do damage. I get a nice chip on the Manectric. And here I switch into Tangrowth without a question. He Thunderbolts, so he doesn't predict that at all. And then here I take the Flamethrower pretty well, so I go for Earthquake, but he actually switches. That was pretty much a no-risk play for me. like Flamethrower really didn't do anything to me, and I was doing like 50% to Manectric, so I figured Earthquake was free. He goes into Gyarados, and my switch into this is 100% of the time fully defensive Blastoise with Roar. So I go into Blastoise, and he actually subs. For some reason he thinks he's safe here, and he actually goes for Dragon Dance, and I immediately just went for Roar, which does bypass Substitute, and I get a God tier Roar here. By the way, I pull out Heatran, which is super nice, and then here I just go for a Scald. And I pop his Air Balloon, which is very, very good. And then he misses Magma Storm. I'm not sure how much that mattered. It might have mattered. Blastoise really didn't take too much damage from that Magma Storm. Maybe like the Magma Storm chip at some point would have done more damage or something. I don't know. And then here he just goes into Hariyama as I Toxic again, expecting him to go into like Latias or something. And then I switch into Hoopa because... So, like, here I was really debating going into Kieran Black if he went for Fake Out, because Kieran Black was going to do a lot of damage to this thing. But then I was thinking, like, well, if he goes for Close Combat, then Hoopa is easily my play. And then I realized, because Hoopa Unbound is a Psychic Dark type, and I forgot that Hoopa, just regular Hoopa, is a Psychic Ghost type. So, like, no matter what he went for, I was going to full immune the damage. If he went for Fake Out, I was going to be immune, and if he went for Close Combat, I was going to be immune. So Hoopa was like 100% the correct play here. And then I knew he was going to switch, so I went for Shadow Ball. Choice Spec Shadow Ball. Just does so much damage to this Heatran. Like, I think that's like Spadef Heatran too, but I just do a lot of damage. And he goes for Protect, like scouting my move. I think he did that just to see if I was Specs, which I am. So, and then he goes into Hariyama, and then I Shadow Ball again, and he just dies. So, Hoopa picking up a kill, which is really cool. He goes into Manectric here. Manectric does like 1,000,000% outspeed me. So I just go straight into Tangrowth, as he Thunderbolts, does no damage to me. And then here I go for Earthquake. I went for Knockoff, expecting him to switch, as he actually does stay in that time, and goes for the Flamethrower. I take no damage from that. Tangrowth is such a beast. So then I think I go for... Yeah, I switch into Kieran Black, because Kieran Black doesn't really care about what Manectric went for there. So Kieran Black is about to have a free... So I just go for Dragon Pulse here. I figured I would do more damage to this Heatran. I figured it would be at least a 2-hit KO. It's not a 2-hit KO. So, I figured Dragon Pulse was free. I should have went for like Ice Beam or something. Maybe Ice Beam would have been better. No, I think he quad resists Ice Beam, so Dragon Pulse was the play. Earth Power was definitely not the play because he has Latias. So yeah, then I switch into Blastoise. 100% I switch into this. He goes for Rocks. He dies to Scald, so I just go for Rapid Spin. I'm not allowing him to have Rocks on my side of the field. Then he goes for Thunderbolt, and I just sack Blastoise because it pretty much did all I needed it to. Hariyama is dead. That's his best physical attacker. Gyarados isn't really that much of an issue at this point. And then Heatran is super low, which and Blastoise is my main switching into Heatran. So because Heatran is so low, I felt like I just didn't need Blastoise anymore. So I just sacked it, and then I go straight into Kyurem. And I go for Dragon Pulse again. Here, I think he went into Gyarados thinking that I was like a mixed set. I'm not. I'm a fully specially offensive set. So I go for Dragon Pulse. He cannot do anything to me, so I just stay in and D-Pulse again. Do a lot of damage to him, and then he goes for Bounce. I'm assuming that with this set, he's Z-Fly. Or like Flying EMZ. I don't see why he wouldn't be if he has Bounce. So here I just go into Diancie, because regular form Diancie takes us like a champ. And then I 100% outspeed him here, and I hit everything on his team extremely hard with a Moonblast. So I just go for Moonblast, and I knock out Gyarados, so that's super nice. Then he goes into Manectric. Manectric does outspeed me, so I go into Kieran Black, because Tangrowth is relatively low, and I didn't want to risk him going for Flamethrower. So I go into Kieran Black, as he Hidden Power fires, so he does a really fair amount of damage to me. But at this point, I really don't care. I just go for D-Pulse, and he goes into Heatran. Heatran is 2-hit KO this time, so I just D-Pulse Heatran twice and kill it. Then he goes back into Manectric. I should not have switched here. I should have stayed in and pretty much just taken the game. But I switched here and I go into Tangrowth and he flamethrowers, so he predicted me, and he 2-8 KOs me. I had absolutely no reason to switch there. That was 100% a misplay. And yeah, so here I go back into Kyurem, and then I click Ice Beam this time because Ice Beam is better coverage for his team, and it also has a higher base power. So I figured if Dragon Pulse was a roll, I don't know if it was on Manectric, but if Dragon Pulse was a roll, I think going for Ice Beam was the better play. And then he goes into Zygarde, and he E-speeds me, so I'm assuming this is banded, and I eat it and kill him with Ice Beam. And then he goes into Latios, I Ice Beam. It's a 2-8 KO, and then he goes for a hidden power something, I don't know. I don't know why he didn't go for a dragon move or a psychic move. I'm pretty sure either of which would have KO'd me. So he pretty much just secures me the 4-0, and then I go for Ice Beam again, and I kill Latios. So in our first week of NSTL, I pick up a 4-0 victory, which is super cool. Unfortunately, a lot of the things you saw on this team are no longer on the team. Hoopa is no longer on the team, Diancie is no longer on the team, and Kyurem Black is no longer on the team. I already have Mega Diancie in AABL, so I wasn't super interested in using it again. I would seriously dislike Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black is very awkward to build with, so I traded it, and then I traded Hoopa for something else. So yeah, I'll post a video running through my team on NSTL really quickly. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see about that. I might just explain it in like one of the team builder videos for NSTL later. But yeah, so we picked up a 4-0 victory in NSTL. I believe the coach before me had he was 0-1 with a -6 differential, so I managed to go 1-1 to a -2, which is really nice. That's a really good progress to get our differential back up into the positives. So yeah, GG to Trogaholic. I'll be linking his YouTube in the description below. Please make sure to check that out. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching the video, and have a good day.